What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. I am Jeff Meacham. This is One on One. I did this all week last week, but thank you guys so much for an awesome opening week. I had such a blast doing the three shows I did last week. The response was overwhelmingly positive, and I thank you guys again for coming out to your laptops. So that makes no sense, but that's okay. Going to your laptops, going to your desktops, and just watching my crazy shenanigans. I appreciate that very much. You guys are amazing. I'm changing the format of one-on-one just a smidge because last week's show was short. I mean, like 5 minutes less short. So we're gonna answer more than one question on one-on-one. It'll still be one-on-one with the question askers, the questionnaires, if you will. But I'm gonna do more than one question that way. I get a little bit more time out of the shows and have more time to talk to you guys. So, first one comes from Twitter. Actually, all these come from Twitter today. Um, Warren, your question on Facebook, I will get to that probably next week, okay? Just so you know. From at JY620, Jeff, his name is also Jeff. For your show, what do you think of the light heavyweight championship? And people think it was just a ripoff of the cruiserweight championship? By the time the WWF introduced light heavyweight championship in 1997, it very much seemed like a ripoff of the cruiserweight championship that was in WCW since in their eyes 1991, but in reality 1996. The WWE Light Heavyweight Championship had been around since 1981, I believe, and defended exclusively in Japan for a number of years. Chris Benoit held that championship at one point. You had it was part of the J Crown that Ultimo Dragon held for a couple of reigns. But it was in '97 that the WWF brought it back to the United States and had Taka Michinoku win the tournament to crown the first U.S. exclusive WWE Light Heavyweight Champion. But again, like I said, by that time, the Cruiserweight Championship had been around for a year and a half in WCW, so it did very much seem like a ripoff. You notice, when they merged the companies, the WWF version went away. When they were going to have the X-Pac Billy Kidman unification match at Survivor Series and Sean Waltman got hurt, they quietly just, let's just get rid of this one and we'll keep the more prestigious one. Yeah, I remember the light heavyweight championship was held for 2 years by Dwayne Gill, or a year and a half, whatever it was, by Dwayne Gill, aka Gilbert, and defended hardly ever. It was ridiculous. So, thank you, Jeff. Next one comes from Ricky Lawson at Ricky Lawson. Watching Impact this week. This is from last week. He asked this question, and Mike today actually mentions the WWE. Do you think it's smart of them to mention the competition on TV? Well, I mentioned this on last week's on Saturday's Rewind. Um, Ricky, you asked about this, and I mentioned it, so I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. Gotta remember something. For all intents and purposes, there is no real competition anymore. TNA tried to compete with WWE in early 2010 by going live on Mondays against Raw, and they got hammered. TNA, Dixie, Hulk, all of them recognize that the WWE is the premier brand in sports entertainment professional wrestling. They're always going to be. Even when WCW was still kicking the WWF's butt in the Monday Night Wars, people still associated the WWF name with wrestling more than they did WCW. Vince McMahon's company, the McMahon family company, has always been the well, not always. I take that back. Since the expansion in the early '80s, I'll give the NWA and the AWA credit. Um, since the expansion of the early '80s with Hulkamania and Roddy Piper and Vince Jr. leading the charge, um, the WWF has been the premier brand, and for TNA to not try to give their guys a rub by saying, "Hey, they used to work for these guys," wouldn't be smart. I don't think. Hulk especially, I think, realizes that his bread and butter was always with Vince, and I think for them to just ignore the WWE's presence, and especially a guy like Mike Knox, who his biggest claim was with the WWE branded ECW. He was Kelly Kelly's boyfriend for a while. He had a huge run as a monster heel. Not a huge run, but a decent little run as a monster heel. So for them to not acknowledge that would be very foolish on TNA's part. Excuse me. So that's where I see that is the reason why. And from Rexo 1991, Rex Christopherson, My question is, why did Jerry the King Lawler play the role of a pervert to the divas and suck up to Mr. McMahon for so many years? Well, I think the answer is twofold because there's two questions in there really, but I, this is my opinion. My opinion. I think it ties back to the rape allegations back in 1993 because from the moment the Attitude Era really started, Lawler became much more diva and lady obsessed than he was a serious heel broadcaster. Um, he was very much a heel in terms of kissing up to the corporation, and I think I honestly don't know the answer, but my guess is that it was a attempt to have Jerry, be a suck up to Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, for saving him and letting him live a better existence than he would have if he'd remained in Memphis and not become a WWF WWE superstar. The Divas thing, Jerry even said in his book that he's always had a wandering eye, if you will, and all the divas in the WWF during the Attitude Era and even before that with Sunny and Sable, pre-Attitude Era, were not hard on the eyes at all. They were very gorgeous. Tammy Sitch in particular was the hottest woman on AOL for an entire year. She was the most talented woman on the planet. So I think to have a commentator who recognized the beauty of the divas and appreciated their awesome look, was key to the presentation of the divas during a Attitude Era time frame. All right. Thank you guys very much for watching this week. Again, Warren, I'll get to your question probably next week on Facebook. Don't worry about that. Coming up on Thursday, we have another top five. Haven't decided the topic. Oh, I have. Take it back. What I'm going to do is the top five is going to be the top five guys in WWE or TNA. I'm going to mix the two companies together that would do better in the other company. So get your guys' picks in for me, and I'll probably read them on the air here, and let me know what you think about that. I was gonna do top five WWE to do better in TNA, but to be honest, some would do better in the other. TNA would do better in WWE, WWE would do better in TNA. There's a good enough mix where I can do a good top five and really get sink into it. It'd be awesome. It'd be good stuff. So thank you guys so much for your time today, and we will see you all next time on One on One.